Why are you playing? You're not supposed to be playing. Alright, I think we're up and running.
Okay.
You want to bring us into this one?
Sure. You are listening to a Christian and an atheist walk into a bar. I am your host and Charles Darwin fanboy, Jay Stooksbury, and with me as always is my co-host and Jesus' #1 groupie, Ty Gallenbeck.
I need to stop drinking beer right as I'm getting ready to listen to that for the first time so I don't ever spit beer over everything.
So far, so good. Especially on our new fancy microphones.
I know. We hope that you guys are enjoying this podcast more than any of the others already because the expensive microphones are supposed to make us sound better.
So far, so good, I think.
Yeah, we can't really hear it, but the test sounded good.
Yeah.
So, what are we drinking tonight, Jay?
We're drinking a double IPA from Eddyline called Epic Day. And Eddyline is located in Buena Vista, Colorado, which is located out in the Arkansas Valley, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's a fun little town, and it's a good beer.
It is. It's super heavy. I mean, it comes in to at 10%, so you're not going to drink these all the time.
No.
But it's delicious. It's not overly hoppy or too bitter for a double IPA.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a fruity aroma to it. So it's for a double IPA, it's pretty moderate as far as the bitterness is concerned. It's well balanced.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Buena Vista or Buena Vista, depending on who you are, apparently, depending on your religious affiliation, how you say it.
Natives call it Buena.
I've always said Buena, and I've lived here my whole life.
Because that's the appropriate Spanish. But, you know.
Yeah. So if you're ever there, make sure you go check that out. It's a great little spot. I will also, just because we're talking about Buena Vista, if you're ever there and want to drink really good beer, go to the Jailhouse. A little shout out to some friends there. He actually used to work at Eddyline and now opened up this great little craft brew bar there. So
nice.
Check him out if you're ever in that area. But this is good. I can dig it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Jay, I'm going to let you tell people what we're talking about tonight because this was kind of your brainchild.
Okay.
And we'll see where it goes.
So, we've always had some sort of central topic, something that we kind of go back and forth on. And I thought we'd try something a little different, try to mix things up a little bit. And I don't know really how it popped into my head, but I thought, wouldn't it be fun to really get to know both of us and the deep choices that we would make and the way we think about things if we played a nice game of Would You Rather. And it's always a fun conversation starter. It can either lead to really bad arguments or just be a lot of good laughs. And usually that's what the intention of it is, just to start up a conversation and have some laughs over it too. So I think we set loose parameters for it. We each were tasked with writing our own questions, some of them of a religious nature and some of them just for fun. And I thought we would just go back and forth with the chance to answer these questions. So, do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
I definitely... So, I tried to get a broad spectrum of questions from more entertaining to more philosophical.
Ooh.
So we're going to start on the light side here with, time-honored, and this is a two-part question, but would you rather get in a fight with Mr. T or Chuck Norris?
Oh, well... you know that you're not coming out of this. This is not going to be a good story if you're going against Chuck Norris.
Well, it's going to be a good story.
Well, it's not going to be good for me.
if you live, it's going to be a great story.
If I live to tell the tale, yeah, for sure. I feel like, as a scrappy white guy that's watched some Rocky movies, I could probably at least hang with Mr. T for a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's the two-part question, because I think I would answer it the same. I would rather not fight Chuck Norris. But what if you put that into, instead of their characters, into real-life situation? Would you rather fight Chuck Norris or Mr. T?
As in their real-life personality?
Correct. Who they are.
Wow, I don't know. Because, there might be a side to Chuck Norris in real life where it's just all hype. You know what I mean? Like, he's just lived off that for so long that he's actually probably gotten a little soft these days.
Right.
And that's another part of that question. Are we talking about Chuck Norris and Mr. T in their very current states?
Let's say in the height of their career. But as the person they really are, not their persona.
Okay. I don't know. I think if you were going just based off of who they are right now, I have a feeling that Mr. T would probably fight dirty in real life.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, and Chuck's got, he's got a lot of discipline, but you could still punch below the belt a couple of times and get away with it.
Right.
And he could probably still whoop some ass, but
gonna have to edit more. Trying to keep that explicit sign off.
That's our one. I've used it up.
All right, on to the next one.
Okay, I'll go lighthearted as well too. Look at my list. Would you rather be covered head to toe in hair or be completely bald?
Bald. Easy.
Yeah.
I hate hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a house of 3 girls, the hair drives me insane.
Are you constantly unplugging drains?
Nope, I don't do it.
Oh.
It grosses me out. Nope. That's why that is a no-brainer for sure.
Put that on the list of things Ty Gallenbeck doesn't do. Vote and clean up hair.
That's yes. I actually, so sidebar here, but when I was a lifeguard for years, cleaned up everything you can imagine. Vomit on the pool deck, feces, all of that kind of stuff.
The Twinkie.
Yep, but Babe Ruth bar.
Babe Ruth bar.
That's
Twinkie,
right.
yeah.
Twinkie would be an
Yeah.
But the one thing that would make me gag was having to clean the hair traps. Like, I couldn't do it.
Interesting.
So,
interesting.
Yeah, that one was easy for me.
All right. Well, dang. All
right.
Lobbed a softball.
I've got one just playing to your musical inclinations.
Oh, no.
Would you rather, for the rest of your life, at all times, listen to either country music or Christian music?
Define country music. Any particular era?
Anything iTunes labels as country.
Okay. I would probably actually go with country, and this might surprise you. I actually like country music.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That does surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely an old timey fan.
Right.
Hank Williams and Cash and a lot of those traditional ones. And I was forced to listen to a lot of Garth Brooks when I was young, so I have a little bit of a soft side to him, and I can't believe I'm admitting this over the radio. But yeah, I would definitely pick country.
All right.
Mostly just because I probably would not. There's a less chance of me stabbing my eyes out for eternity then.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought with your punk rock roots that country may be more of
I've been in Delta long enough that I have to have a little bit of country.
Gosh.
A little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll.
Every wedding I've ever DJ'd has been torture.
Yeah. And you're never going to get a DJ job again now.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right. So, would you rather have no thumbs or be all thumbs on your hand?
Oh, jeez. In my current line of work, that is a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Wow. And most people would be like thinking about opening car doors or, stuff like that. And all I can think of is, how would I do card tricks?
Yeah,
like
how
that?
would you shuffle?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have to go no thumbs.
Really?
Yeah. You still get 4? I'm assuming that's how that would work.
Yeah.
You'd have 4 fingers.
You get 4 fingers on each hand.
Yeah, I feel like I could figure out more with 4 fingers than I could with all thumbs.
Interesting.
So pinkies are pretty important to card magic, so I want to keep those around.
You heard the secret here.
That's right. Exposure. Penn and Teller have nothing on me. All right. This is one I actually posed to my wife just to see what she said. And this is a little more philosophical, but would you rather lose all of your money and valuables or all of the pictures you have ever taken?
I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Because I'm a big photo person. I like to take a lot of pictures. I think Man, that is a tough one. So I guess I'd ask this qualifying question then. So can you never ever accumulate wealth ever again, or it would just be all of your just possessions and then you have to start all over?
I'm reading it as you're starting over.
Okay.
But my hang-up with this question is the valuables piece, because what is all defined in valuables?
Yeah. Well, I will say that we have a fireproof safe that we keep in our house that has important documents, things of that nature. But we also put all our SD cards in there too for pictures and stuff like that too.
There you go.
So if something happens, we can just grab it. It's seriously just like the size of a suitcase, and we can head out the door. So I guess at the end of the day, that's still kind of both.
Right.
So I don't
Pick
know.
one, Jay.
This is hard. I guess for the sake of nostalgia, it'd be hard to get rid of photos, because I think most stuff you can buy again,
Right.
Like at the end of the day, it's just stuff. It's just consumer stuff that can easily we can make more money and buy more stuff again, but you can't recreate pictures,
Right.
Especially now, since becoming a parent and just kind of watching the development from day one to where we are and looking back and forth. That's something I enjoy on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the nice things about I enjoy about Facebook, where it has
Absolutely.
the memory on this day that you can revisit.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, everything's digitized too. So
Right.
that makes it a lot easier to make that choice. But yeah, I think I would go with photos.
All right.
I would keep the photos. How about you?
I think probably I would have to go with, I would rather keep the photos. The valuables line is weird for me because there's certain things, mementos and things like that you could never recreate, you could never buy again, you could never get back.
Sure.
And some of those things are the things that make that a difficult question for me. If it's house possessions, those things, yeah, but
Yeah, maybe the question would be better framed. Would you save everything that's sentimental versus would you save everything that's, financial or
right? Well, then it becomes a no-brainer.
Yeah,
yeah. Then it's easy.
Yeah.
So, all
right. So it's my turn. Let's switch it up. Would you rather live in a world of many religions who are constantly feuding with each other, or a world with no religion and world peace?
Wow, that's a good one. I think I would probably pick peace. And the religious side of me says because I feel like that's the way things were designed to be. And so even if there is an inherent absence of religion on Earth, that if there is a God, he would rather see things as he created them to be than in turmoil. Mm-hmm. So I think that's how I would answer that question. I would rather live in a world of peace, period.
Yeah. I was trying to think of how could I, because that's an easy question for me.
Right,
obviously.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of a no-brainer. But I was thinking, how could I make that question more difficult for me? And I decided that keep the first half, world full of religion that's constantly feuding, or everybody's the same religion, just like it's just
right
across the board, and it's a world at peace. And I think I would actually be okay with being a part of that one religion if it was a world of peace.
Right. Yeah. I think so. I think there's just so much more to gain. Mm-hmm. I think as not even a society, as people, as humans, what you could accomplish in that kind of environment.
And that's still hard too, because I would always think that'd mean that there's not a lot of diversity of thought or things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I would much rather see people not being bombed and things of that nature.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, I gotta find another good one here. Ooh, all right. We'll into the superhero Marvel comics, kind of. Would you rather be completely invisible for one day or be able to fly for one day?
If it's one day, I feel like you get more value out of flying. You can cover a lot more ground. I think the whole concept of it is you got a short, finite amount of time with this particular skill or superpower. So you want to kind of maximize it. So I feel like if I wanted to really take full advantage of it from an economic standpoint, I think flying would be the trick.
Interesting.
Because I think I'd want to see as much of the world as I could. Fly over the Grand Canyon, check out the pyramids. I mean, I don't know how fast I can fly, but I am assuming that
you got 24 hours.
Yeah, I can make it work. I better plan it correctly though, just in case I run out over the Pacific Ocean or something like that. But yeah, I think I would pick flying.
All right.
How about you?
If I was morals make this more difficult.
Yeah.
Because I think absence of morals, I would take invisible all day long.
Really?
Because the mischief you could cause
it's true.
Would be wonderful. And there, you could go into places and see behind doors and
listen in on conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In ways that you could never do. And some of that would just be fascinating. And some of that would be, the seeing the world piece. That would be the same way I would go with flying, too. It'd be nothing else except to be able to experience everything this world has to offer. So.
Plus, if you did the invisibility thing too, that'd make a hell of a magic show too.
Oh man, yeah. For one day, I could be the best. Except I'd get no credit for it, which was a would you rather question somewhere on here. But
would you rather live 1,000 years, one lifetime of 1,000 years, or 10 100-year increments spanned over an indeterminate amount of time?
I think the question I think they have to be assuming that those 100-year increments are completely separate of each other.
Right. Otherwise, it's just back-to-back 1,000.
Yeah,
it's
start over and go again.
So a little bit of the 17th century, a little bit in the 14th, all over the place.
I would go 1,000 years then.
Yeah?
Just because of the amount of knowledge and experience you would accumulate would be so valuable. I mean, I know I'm way smarter than I was 10 years ago. So make that exponential, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
The amount of wealth of knowledge you would have. I would take 1,000 years.
Yeah. I think I would actually do the opposite. I would like it spread out a little bit. Just because then you have the opportunity to see a lot more of history and different time spans.
Yeah, but you don't recognize any of that. Like, you wouldn't realize that you're experiencing different things.
Fair enough.
If they're all separate.
I also know that I feel like I would get bored after the first century of living.
Yeah, there would definitely be. I mean, if I'm get to 95 years old and I'm like a 95-year-old today and the rest of my life is spent like that, oh, heck no.
Yeah.
I don't want that at all.
Yeah. I don't know if that's really part of the question, but how do you age?
Yeah.
I think that plays a big thing right there.
Yeah. Because in our current state of being, I tell my wife all the time, I want to die when I'm 70 because, there's just that downhill portion is rough. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even though I consider everything after 25 downhill, but
yeah, I didn't think I'd live this long.
There were moments in my life where I definitely didn't think I'd live this long.
When we were going back to 15-year-old Jay, I didn't really have this far in advance, so that it's reflected in my 401k too. So.
Oh, all right. We need a good one. See, some of these, you look at other people's and they seem like no-brainers to me. Like, would you rather find true love or a suitcase with $5 million? $5
million. Just kidding, honey.
I was like, Carrie, I'm sorry.
She would probably tell me to take the money, too. So I'll meet up with you later.
Well, I don't have
to love you.
Just find my sugar daddy. What else you got? I got to find another good one here.
Okay.
My list is not as well thought out as yours at this point.
Okay, we'll go religious here. Would you rather be the leader of hell or a peon in heaven?
I gotta go heaven with
Yeah?
my belief system. Yeah, I mean that.
Darn, I thought I was going to get you.
No, that's a no-brainer. And part of that has to do with an understanding of, my understanding of what heaven and hell are. But,
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be a peon in heaven, but I'm preparing myself now for that.
As long as you know your role.
Yeah. This is not philosophical in any way, but it is a good question, especially for you and considering your line of work. Would you rather give up bathing for a month or give up internet for a month?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, I think I've given up bathing for a month every once in a while. It's been a while, actually, now that I think about it for me. That's why it's nice we have this table in between us, so you can't quite smell me.
That's
right. I think, though, there's definitely been times, though, after 5 or 6 days where you get itchy and things like that. I could probably live without the internet for a month just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely would have to find a different line of work, though. But at least I would probably be a little bit more presentable for the job interview too. Given that I bathe on a regular basis. So yeah, I think I'd have to pick giving up the internet for the month.
Wow. Yeah. That'd be tough.
Yeah.
That'd be very tough.
I just don't like rashes and things like that.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
That's one of those, if you were one of those snarky, like, literists, you'd be like, well, I could shower.
Yeah. I could run through the car wash really quickly. Yeah, no. I usually try to bathe on a regular basis.
Try.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. Once you have kids, it becomes kind of like, there's something about it.
Especially when they're newborn.
Oh, yeah.
You actually have to have a moment where you're like, you do the sniff test. And you actually have to help your spouse, too. Be like, we've become nose blind. Yeah. I can smell you from over here. So, Yeah, it's definitely something that you do less frequently when you have children.
Yes. The lack of sleep gets to you.
Yes, it does. Okay. Let's do a funny one. Would you rather have a bell ring every time that you're aroused, or loudly announce that you're about to fart?
Okay, read that again.
Would you rather have a bell ring every time that you're aroused, or have to loudly shout every time that you're about to fart?
Oh, like, is this entire life or starting now? there is a difference to that question, I feel like.
Okay, well, so like if you're back in high school and...
Yeah, then I'm taking the yelling, I think. Those teenage years, sitting in class, I don't need the bell going off.
But starting now, it's not a big deal?
It would be much less frequent.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm glad our wives don't regularly listen to this. Although my wife is caught up now, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure my wife's listened to any episode yet. Which may be why I'm saying that.
I'm just going to carry a bell around nowadays. Whenever I see her.
We come in to eat, and Jay's going to be back there.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and but if it was nowadays, take the shouting any day. I would probably, who knows? Yeah, that's funny. That's a good one. All right, along those lines, this is one of my favorite would you rather questions of all time. Would you rather sneeze marbles or sweat cheese? Things to consider: airplanes, long road trips.
Okay, just sneeze marbles or sweat cheese.
Correct.
This is going to sound a little gross, and it goes back to the bathing question from before. I am a sweaty guy. I perspire very easily. So there would be a lot of cheese. But also, I really like cheese, too. And I'm not going to lie, I probably would eat it. I would probably eat Jay Sweaty cheese. And I think I probably could brand it, too, because there's also a lot of cheese out there that is really funky.
That's true.
And people spend a lot of money on funky cheese, especially hipsters. Millennials love really funky cheese. And I think Jay's Sweaty Funky Cheese could actually have a marketplace. I could do pairings with it.
You've got the branding already?
Yeah. I'm going to go buy the domain name right now, actually, now that I think about it. And I don't like sneezing. I really hate it.
Yeah.
I used to be a one-time sneezer when I was growing up. Like, just, that was automatic. Then my 20s, I became a 2 sneezer, and now it's just like endless,
Geez.
Especially moving out to the country when I first was like kind of assaulted with a lot of the stuff in the air and allergies and things like that. So yeah, I'm not a big sneezing fan. Yeah. I feel like sneezing marbles might kind of hurt too.
Yeah.
There might be some ricochet issues that you have to take in consideration. Like, you're driving and you just, especially me right now, if you catch me in the middle of allergy season, I could just like destroy my windshield right then and there, So yeah, I think I would have to go with the sweating cheese.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is the first time I've ever heard someone monetize the sweating cheese. Well played.
I'm the capitalist, so that's what I like, How about you? Would you?
I choose sweating cheese, but I am a very not sweaty person. Like, I don't, unless I'm doing a lot of physical activity, I think it would be very easy to maintain.
Yeah.
And sneezing marbles just sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
I would hate to kill some little kid.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm imagining it's coming out at a pretty high velocity,
exactly.
too.
Yeah. I feel the same way. It's not just some little, like, a marble fell out of my nose.
Right.
Like, I think it's projectile.
Yeah. I think you'd probably have some assault charges on you.
Highly likely.
Yeah.
Murder charges. Who knows?
Yeah. Hell of a way to go. Okay. Would you rather... Oh, I had it and I lost it. Oh, there it is. Would you rather travel the world confined to a wheelchair or be able-bodied but stuck within a 50-mile radius?
Travel the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. My uncle has cerebral palsy and is in a wheelchair, and so I've done wheelchair basketball events and all those kind of things just with them. And I mean, to experience, like flying, to experience the world would be so worth it. So worth it, even in a chair. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of accommodations for wheelchairs. I mean, obviously it's limiting, but I feel like it would be I think it'd be it'd be a rich life in comparison to being stuck in the same area.
Yeah. Yeah. Living in a small town, we see the harms of staying in a small area.
Right, and never leaving.
That's right. All right, this is a good one. And I don't know what I would choose on this yet. So would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals?
That's a hard one. There's two things you need to know about me. I'm a huge history buff. But I'm also a huge
animal lover.
Yeah, I am a big animal lover. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, what objects I can touch and what information you can get from them, I feel like that would almost be like sensory overload,
Yeah.
Because you come in contact with a lot of different things, just from here,
I'm thinking just money alone.
Right.
Like a $20 bill.
Yeah.
The entire history of a $20 bill.
Yeah. Man. I feel like that would just be too much information, I probably would go with the animals and being Dr. Dolittle. Just mostly because like I said, I'm a big animal lover. I feel like it would be a little bit more interesting experience, and you definitely get a little better sense about the pets we have, but also we have a lot of animals that just running free throughout our neighborhoods as well too. So
right.
Get a kind of an idea about what's going on in their heads. Yeah, I think I'd pick the talking to the animals. I'd go Dr. Dolittle on this one. How about you?
I think I would go history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mostly I like stories. I like, anytime you acquire something with like an interesting background.
Sure.
I love hearing all of that stuff. But then also like I think about like family stuff and to know your family's history and like to be able to, touch a picture that my grandma has and to understand everything that went into that moment.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that's like keeping me too is that if I can be very selective about what those items are,
right.
If I just walked around with gloves for the most time, that I'm making up rules about this how this power works.
You always do.
Yeah. I imagine if you had some sort of degree of separation, then you can selectively pick what those things you want to learn about. Because otherwise, man, I think anything you come in contact with, just like the beer we're holding here, this paper, it's just kind of a very rough industrial thing too, where it's not that interesting, and you have to be careful about what you're touching. That's what I was thinking of mostly.
There's also something we haven't said is like, what about the things you touch that you discover things that you wish you would have never known?
Right.
Fast food burgers?
Oh, yeah.
There could be some that would almost make me change my mind in some of those.
Well, it probably at least change your diet.
Probably
for the better.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah.
So, all right. Probably got time for a couple more here.
Okay. Would you rather age from the neck up only or the neck down only?
Oh, wow. That's super tough. Neck up only or neck... I think I have to go neck down.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I would be afraid of... gosh, I don't know, though. It's the brain piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you... If your neck up goes first, I guess you wouldn't realize that your body couldn't function.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're... Yeah, that may be worse, to have a fully functioning brain and not be able to do anything with it. I don't know. That'd be tough. Yeah, I think I would go... I think I would still go neck down.
Yeah.
Neck down,
Yeah.
I think. That's a good one. Yeah, because I think I would rather... If your brain never aged, technically wouldn't... Well, no, you wouldn't live forever. Your heart would give out eventually.
Yeah. I think it's just the aging part, you know. It's something's going to give eventually.
Right. Yeah, and I think I'd rather be coherent and yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
In my experience with folks in my family, I have a history of dementia in my family as well too. I think I would prefer to keep my wits about me in comparison to watching certain family members the way they age and completely lose it, you know?
Right.
Because I still feel like even if I can keep my wits about me and still have a sense of humor about things, that I would be able to cope better with that, even if I was completely unable to move or I was hooked up on dialysis or something like that. You know, something about losing my wits, to me, is really when you have no quality of life.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that coming in and out of coherence and understanding would be rough.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a hard time with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you rather be an amazing painter or brilliant mathematician?
Mathematician. Yeah, without a doubt.
I would agree. But
Yeah.
I have no artistic skills, so...
Yeah, my life is going just fine without being an amazing painter.
But being an amazing mathematician would be helpful.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty nice skill set to have. Plus, I like math too. I'm kind of a nerd about that. It was one of my favorite subjects. I had another one. Okay. Would you rather sacrifice? Okay, just to set the scene too. You're it's the end of the world and you're out surviving on your own with your pets. Would you rather sacrifice your pet to have a meal, or would you sacrifice a limb of your body to share with your pet to eat?
I think... I think end of the world setting... I'm going to sacrifice a pet. Mm-hmm. And it's going to suck.
Yeah.
It's going to really suck.
Yeah.
But I think... Yeah. I think if at the point I got to where I was like, nope, I'm going to cut a limb off, I would just say, you know what, pet, you live. I'm just going to be done. You can eat me. Like, I think if I got to that point, that's where I'd be at.
Yeah.
So...
I think I would do the same, and that's even coming from the animal lover too. Because there's also the threat of how many times have you put something in front of your dog to eat and they don't like it? So you chop off an arm, you put it there, maybe you cooked it for them nicely, you baste it and everything like that, slow cook, and they still just kind of look at you weird with that sideways look and don't do anything. Yeah. I feel like I'd get really mad about that. Then I'd probably eat the dog.
Yeah, and then you've done both, which is terrible.
And now you're down an arm. And it's funny too. My wife and I we talk about the apocalypse a lot.
Okay,
we plan a lot for this type of scenario.
You've got the zombie escape plan.
Yeah, we got the zombie escape plan, and we also know which animals we would eat first too.
Okay,
and our annoying basset hound would be the first one to go.
Yeah.
Otis, we're gonna eat Otis because he's got good muscle tone.
Okay.
And he's also really loud and obnoxious, too, so he would draw a lot of attention to the property, so he's just...
Which you don't want that.
He's got to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Otis. But,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Where... All right, this is not Would You Rather, but in a zombie apocalypse, where are you headed?
I can't tell you that.
All right, fair. That's fair. I thought I might get the invite at this point, but apparently not.
We'll see. Maybe that'll be your Christmas gift.
There we go. I've got my plan. I'm just saying.
Okay.
If you want to be on the winning side, I was going to tell you. But
I don't know. I don't see a lot of ammunition around here.
I've got lots of friends for that. You got to have a well-balanced spectrum of people that are a part of this group.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I always thought, too, that if you timed it just right... if you could find a way of locking down a Walmart, would be one of the best places.
I've heard a lot of people say Walmart. My fear of a Walmart,
there's too many entrances, too many exits.
Well, I think you could get, you're going to get a good barricade, but you're always going to be a target.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
true.
Just I want to be somewhere there's not a lot of people.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's not part of our plan, by the way.
Adequate supplies. Yeah. No, I got a good plan. Yeah. I got a good zombie plan. Maybe that's another episode in itself.
That's actually not a bad idea.
All right, so this is not a Would You Rather question, but because we both have vast musical taste and long histories, I don't know where I'm going with that, but this is one of my favorite questions along this Would You Rather line. Mm-hmm. If you had to listen to one band for the rest of your life on an island, who would it be?
I guess I would have to say Murder by Death would be the one band that I would listen to for the rest of my life on an island.
Really?
I don't know if you've heard them before.
No, I've heard a handful of songs.
Yeah, well,
I think I may have played one at your wedding.
I was going to say you've played a handful of them at our wedding. Actually, it was what we walked down the aisle to as well.
Okay, yeah.
So they've got a really good collection of music. It kind of covers a lot of different subject matter, different emotions that there's. Right. They've got upbeat, they've got downbeat. Yeah. I think I'd be happy with Murder by Death for the rest of my life.
There you go.
I'm going to go see them actually playing at the Stanley Hotel here in a month or so.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of. If there was a version of a Deadhead, what Murder by Death would be, Carrie and I are one of those. So,
what would be your mascot? Not the multicolored bears.
It'd be a crow. I don't know.
All right.
How about you?
So, I've always said it would either be Green Day or Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Interesting.
And mostly for the vast discography that both of those bands carry. Yeah. I feel like what you're going to run into in that situation is just getting utterly tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. So the longer I can prolong that, the better.
Yeah.
And those two do well.
It has to be a band with a lot of history behind it.
Yeah, you don't want a one-hit wonder.
No.
So,
yeah.
Perfect. You got any others you're dying to ask?
Oh, I'm gonna get you back on the heaven and hell one.
All right.
Would you rather be stuck in heaven with someone that you absolutely hate, your worst nightmare, your worst enemy that you hated in the real world, at your side day in, day out? Or would you rather be in hell with someone that you loved?
I still would say heaven, because you have to take in the all-encompassingly aspect of that. But I am sure there are going to be people in heaven that drive me up a freaking wall. I'm 100% sure of that fact. And so even if it was day in, day out, this person was attached to my hip, I still have to say that's going to be better than even a brief moment in hell. So, yeah. Sticking to my guns, Jay.
All right, fine.
I'm sticking to my guns.
Fine.
What about you? If you believed in heaven and if you believed in hell and eternal damnation or eternal bliss with God.
I've been thinking a lot of these hell questions, and going back, it depends on which version of hell you're talking about. But if it's the fire and brimstone one, that we've talked about, as I mentioned before, I sweat a lot. So I feel like I would have a level of discomfort in hell just right off of that. And I mean, obviously hell is hell for a much bigger reason than that. But just the sweating part there'd be a lot of cheese everywhere. So, I think, but there's also a side of me that also thinks that there'd also be really good music in hell too. I think a lot of the good ones, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain.
I would have a different viewpoint of that.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Jimmy's in heaven?
Well, I think that all good things come from God, and there's some really good music. So,
okay.
There may be some of that creative influence, and
depends on if you're the evangelical of the crowd or not.
Yeah, which side you're going.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I deal with enough annoying people in my life that if I had the worst one, I'm picturing who that person is right now, and I'm not going to say the name.
We all have that person.
We all have that person, and I just the thought of being next to that person for the rest of my life just seems utterly miserable. Even when you're supposedly in the greatest place that's ever existed. So I think I'd actually prefer to be in hell with someone I love.
All right. Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But if you boil it down, yeah, I'm going eternity in heaven. So.
Fine, I'm keeping all the cheese.
That's right. You could be sweaty and eat your cheese in hell. All right, if you stuck with us.
That's the perfect way to end.
That is the perfect way. So if you stuck with us through that, hopefully you had a few laughs on your drive or wherever you're listening to this. But thanks for tuning in to a Christian and an atheist walk into a bar where we are trying to settle the world's problems one adult beverage at a time. You got anything else, Jay?
Nope. Just make sure to follow us at christianatheist.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media stuff. And make sure, too, if you have the opportunity to check out our podcast on a variety of platforms. We're available on Stitcher, Google Play, all those different places. We've tried to make it available. We're working on iTunes. We'll get on iTunes very soon.
Jay would say iTunes is Satan.
Yes. If the person I was thinking of who I was going to be stuck in hell with is working with iTunes. Sorry, they're probably not going to put us on now. But yeah, make sure if you're listening to us on there, make sure you're rating us, make sure you're sharing our content, because this is how this thing grows. This is how this thing gets an opportunity to grow some legs and move too. So, and then, Eddyline, if you want to throw us a beer sponsorship, that'd be really cool of you.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure keep giving us feedback too. We've tried to implement as many things as we've heard from you guys as possible. Mm-hmm. So definitely keep letting us know how we can make this better. And if you got ideas for shows and topics you'd like to see covered, make sure you let us hear about those as well.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
Cheers.